Thank you, Lee and Derek, and welcome everybody to our live chat today. So I'm Dr. Georgie Torres. I'm an exercise physiologist. I'm a lecturer at the Center of Exercise Science and Sports Medicine at WITS. And I've had the pleasure of working with these two legends in the fitness industry for a long time. I know their passion, I know their dedication, I know their evidence-based approach, which always excites me. And they came to me with this idea of just chatting about the fitness industry because of the uncertainty that we have at the moment. And I think we need to flip it around, and these two people have got some ideas that we can chat around. I'd like to just first start, because maybe some people on this live link don't know about FitPro and about Lee and Derek. So just briefly, if you could, just tell me or tell us, let's hear a little bit about where you came from and how you're here.
Okay, Derek, you can start.
Okay, so both of us started in the late 90s as personal trainers after going to university and doing sports science and so on. So we've been actively involved in the industry since then, and we happened to get an opportunity to work at FitPro in about 2003, 2004, and eventually we took FitPro over as our own business in 2006. And since then, we've been involved with fitness education on different levels, from certifying guys that are just new to the industry up to taking guys that are, in fact, who we call our colleagues now, through further education and so on. And part of our approach has always been that education is vital, vital not only for us as trainers and so on, but also vital that we're able to pass that information on as trainers. So to educate the people that we train, and to use science, evidence is there, like you said, the evidence-based approach, and to be as hands-on as possible and as involved as possible, regardless of whether we're training athletes or training the average Joe on the street that would like to get fit and healthy. And so we're currently based in Bryanston in Johannesburg, but as you'll hear, from COVID-19, we tend to have spread our campus quite wide from that.
Yeah, and I think with Derek and I think the most important thing is that we're very lucky to wake up like you, Georgie, and be excited to go to work, be excited to do what we love every single day. And I think that's what's kept us ticking over. I think not many people can say that they love what they do. And Derek and I have to stop ourselves at night from talking about work. At least we're excited to do what we do, and we love what we do. And thank goodness, even during such a time of turmoil, our minds are ticking over, and it's made us think out the box. It's challenging us, and it's still exciting us. So that's why we're here today.
Fantastic, thanks. So the importance for me about this is that also we want to connect with you guys out there. We want to hear from you. We want discussion. We're going to throw a lot of ideas out there, but we'd like to hear from you. So I know the back end people of FitPro are looking at your comments on this live feed. So keep them coming, because I'd want this to be a discussion. I just want to start off with
we've got, can I just say hi to who's come on board so far?
Yeah, so that'd be nice. Yeah,
we've got Tobias Basson, who's online. We've got Donnelly, who you'll know from our online classes.
Yes.
So hi, Donnelly. We've got Vivian Conrad and Marty Horthauser, who's a long-time FitPro student. She's come online all the way from Namibia. She was a FitPro student in Joburg. She's in Namibia and she's online. And Chanel Stevens has also just come online. So hi, guys. Thanks for joining us. And Kim Stone. Hey, Kimmy. She's also just come online.
That's awesome. Okay, so keep those comments coming, and any questions that you might have, we're going to try and definitely answer them. I want to start off with just setting the scene a little bit and giving you a little bit of a push in here. So as the pandemic started, Exercise is Medicine Global, one of the founders, Dr. Bob Sallis, put up a blog that is still available on the Exercise is Medicine website. And he said these 4 things that I'd like to just state now as an intro to this discussion. And that's that he said that with the pandemic, we all tend to focus on other things. And he said that actually physical activity should be talked about very very seriously and essentially, because he said that physical activity is a valuable tool to control COVID infections and maintain the quality of life during this time. And he said there were 4 reasons for that. The first reason is it had the potential to reduce severity of COVID-19 infections. And we know that now. There's even like current research to show that there's a very name like this that is produced during exercise that actually protects and reduces the severity of the respiratory distress that happens with COVID. We know that physical activity, number 2, is effective for preventing and treating all our cardiac heart disease, diabetes, cancers, even the communicable diseases that we have. And we know that those have become the forefront because those are the ones that place people at risk of dying from COVID, or that severity of the illness is shown in them. 3, we have a case of symptoms of stress and anxiety happening with the pandemic, and especially with lockdown. We know the potency of exercise to help control that, and that exercise reduces anxiety and depression symptoms. And the 4th and the last one is that in a pandemic or in any lockdown situation or situation where us as humans have to fight, we get a cortisol imbalance. And the only thing that has been shown to improve the cortisol balance and help us is physical activity. What I'm trying to say is that this industry, for me, is the most vital in helping us through this period, and is going to be vital going forward after this. So that is my thing. And now I'd like to ask you guys, these 4 points, how do you see them, or how do you translate them into your fitness education practice? Just to discuss these 4 points quickly.
Well, I think, when this pandemic came across, I mean, it all took us all by surprise. No one could have ever expected it. And the first week when we first heard the announcements, I think all of us looked at each other and we were like, wow, what now? Derek and I sat down and we decided, what are we going to do with all our students? We had a full-time course and we had our part-time course, and then obviously we had our online students. And straight away what we did is we put our full-time and our online student, full-time and our part-time students straight onto online learning. And we started communicating with them online, doing online learning, connecting with them straight away. We started doing webinars with all our students, our online students, and connecting with everybody that we possibly could, so that there wasn't any break in communication with anyone. But what Derek and I started discussing more and more, and what we realized was that a big portion that we were missing out on was the general public. And that's where Derek plays a massive role, because he is the one that is in contact with the general public with his rugby training, with his online training. And we realized that, more and more people are starting to realize, and they're hearing on the news non-communicable disease and how important preventing disease like that is, and how important it is to incorporate exercise into everyday life. And Derek talks about war and weapons, and how we need to be prepared for war. And this was a war that we hadn't prepared for, and this was a war that people hadn't prepared for, because we hadn't prepared our weapons. And what were our weapons? Our weapons are our heart, and our weapons is our cardiovascular system. And the general public hadn't prepared for this. And I think Derek can talk about this and tell us, how can we prepare for this, and how can we prepare for this war going forward?
What I do think happened, no one, to be fair, we had the belief the lockdown was going to be all in, or once the lockdown was done, COVID was going to go away. And there's always going to be a dispute about infection rate versus mortality rates, people recovering, etc., etc. And perhaps the mortality rate isn't as high as some people are saying, and some people it is. So the figures may be tarnished to a certain extent. However, what it did highlight, I think, was, firstly, we aren't prepared for something of this nature. Okay, but that's fine. The other thing is that suddenly it highlighted, like you say, that the effect of the increase in mortality rate, potential mortality rate of people with comorbidities. Now, the comorbidities, like you mentioned, could be communicable or non-communicable diseases. But, you know, if this wasn't the time for people that have to realize that exercise is so vital, it can be as a preventative measure, and also for those that are already being diagnosed with a communicable or non-communicable disease. Now, if there wasn't a time to suddenly realize the importance of it, I don't know which other time it would be, or which would be a better situation, because we've known for ages as fitness professionals, we know that it affects our immune system. We know how important nutrition is for keeping our immune system firing, and that's just from preventing mortality. But like you said as well, the mental state. And I think for a lot of people, this lockdown, besides the fact that we're going into winter and we have the seasonal affective disorders and stuff to deal with as well, this put a huge strain on people mentally. So stress-wise, anxiety-wise, depression-wise. And it's quite unfortunate that it has taken something like the pandemic to make people switch on and think, actually, guys, we know this all along. Why are we waiting for something like this to galvanize people into action? And you know, the public understand, and you know, most people, we have built-in defense mechanisms to say, oh, this is not going to happen to us. We're not going to get sick. We're not going to die, because otherwise, if we didn't have it, I think possibly we'd all go crazy really quickly, because there are so many things that we have to worry about. However, the simple thing is, if we try to keep our bodies as healthy as possible across all levels, we do minimize the chances of obviously developing a non-communicable disease. But even if we have a genetic predisposition to it, we do reduce that likelihood. That's the first thing. Secondly, regardless of the bugs that are out there, I mean, COVID-19 is one of them. There are loads of other bugs that are always attacking our immune system. And the stronger the immune system, obviously, the better overall our physical and psychological response will be to all this.
And you know, I think, Georgie, now that there's a big panic out there because the gyms are closed, but we need to realize that the fitness professionals out there have not closed. The fitness professionals out there are out there for the public, and they are equipped with the ammunition to help the general public get ready, to give them the advice that they need in order to be able to exercise, the correct exercise that they do. And there's a big, the public don't know what to do, and we need to now utilize the fitness professionals. They are very educated. They know exactly what to do, and people are at a loss. They don't know, we see a lot more people now walking outside, but we need to now engage. The fitness professionals need to reach out to the public, and the public now needs to reach out to the fitness professionals. They are there to provide a service, and we need to now help each other out at this time where we don't have gyms to go to until they do open.
So just to say something, and we've got a lot of colleagues, a lot of friends that we've known for many years that own fitness facilities and gyms and stuff like that. And what I just want, especially the public, need to understand that yes, the gyms are closed, but that doesn't mean fitness is closed. Okay, all of those people that are in this market, all of our trainers that have had businesses for 20 years are still there. Okay, they still have that knowledge, and yes, they are not working in a gym perhaps at this point, but they are available. And you just need to take a look on Facebook, take a look around. There's guys that are there for you to pick their brains, and their businesses are continuing. Okay, and when the gyms open again, which they will do hopefully pretty soon, it should just be a natural progression back into the gym environment. Okay, so these guys are out there, they're there to help, and as Lisa, they are knowledgeable. So at this point, if you aren't currently engaging in physical activity, or perhaps you're afraid to, whatever, you don't need to be afraid. Let's get some guidance. Get some guidance from the people that know. That's the first thing. If you already had a trainer or you're used to going to gym, keep that relationship up. I mean, communication is everything, and that goes from our side as personal trainers. We should be maintaining our clientele, maintain their health, even if it's just a phone call, WhatsApp. If we use like the Tech2Gym platform that we have at FitPro, we have this built-in communicator system. We can prescribe. We just keep that going, keep the momentum going. We don't have to wait for the gyms to open again. Like I said, when the gyms open, they've got all this, and we know they've been preparing for ages for the day that they do open. It should just be a natural progression back in. You shouldn't be trying to regain your fitness now because the gym's open. You need to look at it as something that's start creating our habits now. If we're not in that sync and not in that pattern, should we say, or habits, and get back on board. You know, yes, it is tough financial times, particularly for people that want to join classes or see a personal trainer. Listen, the trainers out there also want to keep their businesses going, and at the end of the day, they're also looking after people's health, so they will make a plan for you guys. You know, so if you're not sure, maybe instead of having a one-on-one session, go to a group session, and the trainer will charge you a bit less. And I know trainers that just to keep their clients going are not charging because they know the clients can't afford it, and I think that's amazing. And that shows dedication to the cause and to their industry, which is really impressive.
So I want to summarize on those. There's three important points that you guys made. And the one is that physical activity has all of a sudden become quite a forefront. If you look at media, all of a sudden, if you look at things that are being said out there, all of a sudden physical activity has got like a big punt, okay? And there are not many things we have to thank COVID about, but this is one thing we can thank COVID about, that physical activity is in the forefront, and we need to keep riding that as health professionals. The second thing is that you said that fitness has not closed, and that is so vital for me for people to understand. We have to take what we did and bring it to your people. And you guys have the power to do that. I don't think what worries me is that you as personal trainers, as fitness professionals, do not realize how important you are and what you have, and you don't give value to it. Okay, I can tell you now, your people want you. Your people need you. One of the studies that was done overseas, one of the things that people said, why they want to go back to gyms, okay, overseas, and 70% of people are going back. That's how high it is. But one of the reasons is motivation and their trainer. People need you, their connector, to carry on doing what they're doing, to carry on living healthily. So just keep that in mind, you know. Like Derek says, you should be contacting every single person that was yours. Get back in there, even to ask them how they are, you know. And at the same time, think business-wise. I'm not a commercial person. You can ask these two. I'm not commercial at all. But your value, people will pay for your value, guys, and start thinking about that. Yes, those people who can't, you can help out. But I'm telling you now, people will pay for your value. You can still do everything you did. We've got technology, and you guys were doing it. I want you to tell me a little bit more about it. But you can get you into their houses, into group sessions, into giving them a program that they can actually do. Okay, and then I've forgotten about the third thing, but that doesn't matter. I just want to move a little bit along, if I may. Yes. Sorry,
just add something, Georgie. I know from what I've seen, or from the number of people that are online with us currently watching, I know a lot of them already are fitness professionals themselves, but just something to remember, and this is for more like the general public. The word fitness for a lot of people, the association is someone in their running kit, someone like an athlete type. So
burpees, it doesn't have to be all about burpees.
Yes, it's not. We always forget.
You're not a burpee lady.
You ladies. We always forget to differentiate between fitness and health.
Yep.
So training for health-related benefit and the training for fitness. So when people think, oh, fitness, I don't want to go to gym, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do a class. Flip, let someone guide you, just go for a walk, how to walk properly, how to be comfortable, a couple of strength things. Don't think, okay, strength training, gosh, you're a big weight.
You also become accountable, Derek. You become accountable for that walk to someone who's been motivated.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So it doesn't have to, it's not fitness to be an athlete, it's fitness for health-related benefits. Okay?
That's correct. And that's where the industry, which I'm happy about, is shifting. We're shifting to the right thing. We should have been shifting a long time ago. Health. And
at the same time, I mean, you know, I know we've got to be careful about the number of people we put together in groups and stuff like that, but small walking groups on a parking room, now that we're allowed to go back into the parks, vital. Vital. And like we said, we know it doesn't have to be a hell of a lot to get some sort of benefit across our cardiovascular system and of course, onto our immune system and stuff like that.
So Brian Patterson's Brian Patterson's just made a good point. He said personal trainers don't need to rely on the big gyms anymore. Make your own safe space to train yourself and your clients, guys. And that's 100% correct. And I think this is a good opportunity now for me to give the different options of where, you know, we need to know about the different dimensions of where trainers can, what platforms they can use. And we in South Africa, we've been very one-on-one. We the real world. We haven't yet diversified ourselves enough into the different platforms that are out there. And I think what we can do now is if we can get those platforms right, when I don't like the word the new normal, because I don't believe this is the new normal. I believe this is the new now. And if you can get the new now right, when we go back into what is normal, which will be soon, if you can get the new now and add a new dimension into your training, you'll have a new income stream. And you'll go back into your old income stream with a new income stream, and you'll then be earning more money. You'll be earning passive income, plus you'll be earning your normal income, and you'll be earning more money than you were ever earning before.
And
so the
you'll
new
have
ways,
connected to more people, Lee. This is the whole thing. More people will have been connected to you. A lot more
exactly.
people.
And you know, we've spoken to trainers. I know, for instance, Sally Ross. She owns the Body Workshop in Craig Hall, and she does rebounding and beauty bar. She had lost a lot of her clients to immigration. So she had lost clients who'd gone to the UK, to Switzerland. And she says now COVID has been fantastic because she has now gained back all her clients that she lost by taking them online. She's reconnected with them again. Her classes are busier than ever because she's got all her old clients back. And she said, you know what, I don't even know if I need my studio. I mean, I don't think she'll close the studio. She loves her studio too much. But she said, you know, I've got more people online on my classes because I've got all my old clients back in Switzerland, in the UK, in Cape Town, and she's seeing them again and she's connecting with them again. And that's what's fantastic for her. So I think with the online training platforms now, there's many different options. So you've got for instance, the Technogym online training platform where you can send your clients training programs where they show the exercises with videos. You can connect with them by sending them messages. You've got that as an option. You've got the Zoom training, which a lot of people are doing, and Derek does both the Zoom training as well as he uses the Technogym training platform that he uses for his rugby guys. You've also now got your Fitgram, which is like an Instagram for fitness professionals where you can put your profile up and you can do live streaming classes, and people actually then bid for you. So they pay with Fitcoins. So they can see your profile and then they pay Fitcoins, and then if they want to see you, they pay a certain number of Fitcoins and your profile opens, and you can earn passive income for having a profile, which is fantastic. So I think we need to open ourselves up to this, you know, different dimensions, to different platforms, and we need to become a little bit more I don't want to say it's not ambitious, it's more
Proactive.
what's the word I'm looking for?
You're looking for proactive or not?
Proactive and more
adventurous.
Multidimensional. Adventurous, that's the word. I didn't want to say promiscuous. More adventurous in what we do.
No, that's not the
Okay, so in fact, can you just expand on that? You know, I'm pretty old school, so the technology elements, although I've used the Technogym platform for many years, and has enabled me to train people outside the country, etc. But okay. Obviously the whole change in what our requirements are. I mean, we South Africans are pretty resilient and we're pretty adaptive. And I think our industry has been the same. I mean, it doesn't mean that we, like you said, it's the new now, because how can you say that that's going to be normal when every day is different? It just takes someone in the government to make a decision that suddenly the gyms are open, then the normal changes again. So if we deal with how we deal with it now, it means we're expanding our base. So if we are having an online option, we're building an online profile for ourselves. When the gym's open, it doesn't mean, like, a lot of people will go back to gym. You've seen on all of the big gym organizations have put done like a MailChimp or something, questionnaires, surveys, who's going to come back to the gym. I've put down, I would like to go back to the gym myself because I like the environment. A lot of people will, a lot of people won't. So by the time we get there, we already know what it's like the old way around. Okay, we just have to adapt the way we work and interact with our clients because of social distancing and stuff. But in addition to that, we've already worked out how to do the stuff online as well. So we're going to have the best of both going forward. So when the gyms are open, we just shift and we change our approaches again. Because we're working online now, it doesn't mean that the client that's going to go back to gym doesn't need that online element as well. They might come to gym twice a week to see you one-on-one, for instance, and then still join a class that you're doing online on the third day of the week and still use it. So this stuff's all
so you made a very
streamline our business based on our preferences.
Yeah. You made a very good point there, Derek, that I think we need to highlight for me. And is what does this online presence do for a trainer? Okay. And for me, what it does is it extends your touch and your connection to them outside that facility, meaning that you can now track what they're doing inside and outside gym, and if they travel and everywhere else. You're now more connected to them than ever. That is where online, that is where technology is so powerful.
Exactly. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I know it's very tough. And like I said, we hear stories of guys that are really struggling in our industry, and it's flipping harsh. And yet I also hear of guys that are doing exceptionally well and that have whose businesses have suddenly grown. And that fantastic. So it's always going to be, there's always going to be two sides to the story. And what I also think where the big change is also going to come is a lot of the social media platforms, there are lots of people that were doing stuff for free, perhaps, that now can actually generate that, put a workout on just for a bit of a brand growth kind of thing, where now where before it was just purely to grow their brand, now they can do it and earn a little bit of money as well, like through the platforms like FitGram. What it's also highlighting, which is quite important, is that when people are going online now, because the way the public is being, for people in lockdown, because they haven't been able to do other things than initially first run around your own garden, which was mind-numbing to say the least, I must admit. Dodging dog shoes all over the garden and stuff as well.
Agility training.
Yeah, pretty much. Public has suddenly gone to look online for a bit of variety. Okay, and they're going to look at, and so suddenly they've been exposed to a lot of online platforms that people are just showing exercises or demonstrating exercises on, which is fine. But what it's also highlighted is the public are not, especially those that are very familiar with gym and for training, they're now able to spot when someone that's guiding them online is switched on or not, whether there's an education.
Yeah.
So, and this is just a statement. It's not, I'm not having a go at anybody and such, but often there were guys online that would, maybe girls or girls or whatever, that look fantastic and that you're so cool. I think they're called fitfluencers or something like that. But what it's highlighted is a lot of these guys are doing the stuff, but they don't have an education background.
Yeah.
And for one thing, yes, they're getting people active and so on, but they could be better if they got educated too. And a combination of a good presence like that, where you've got a big pull in the market because you can influence that many people. If you're educated and you keep up to date, you're able to educate people at the same time. And that's what we spoke about just now, just getting people to realize how important activity is. And it's not about what you look like. Yes, it is for young people if they're very influenced by what they see, but outside doesn't tell you what's going on inside. With your perception of what a person looks like in terms of their physical, whether they're lean, got a six-pack and stuff, doesn't mean anything about what's going on inside. We know that. So the market is so much bigger if we start looking into the context of prevention and management of these comorbidities, the non-communicable diseases, those kind of things. And that's the way of the future, I believe. Our lifestyles have been conducive to picking up these comorbidities, unfortunately. So if we take this opportunity through all these multiple platforms and with the idea, yes, it is tough times at the moment, so try to work around it. So build towards the day that things become a little bit easier in terms of accessibility to facilities, etc., but create the foundation for all that stuff now, build up that clientele, start a particular class, for instance, and this is from a trainer's perspective, offer a free, and I actually saw one or two people do it on Facebook, a free class. Fantastic.
Can I, talking about that, give a few shout outs to who's online?
Yes.
So James Machala, one of my favorites, James, he does classes at home. He does home boot camps. And he's been very active during this whole COVID lockdown. Does a lot of online classes. James, follow his page. He said, loud and clear, Derek, you guys are true ambassadors of health and fitness industry in our country. Chanel Stevens said, COVID shows opened up to a new dimension, so everything isn't all doom and gloom.
Great,
You're my
great.
girl,
Yeah,
Chanel.
yeah,
I agree with
yeah.
you 100%. Cordelia said, I'm blushing. Yes, Cordelia, I am blushing. And then James also said, indeed, the approach to the industry has shifted a bit. I'm able to train clients as far as London. There we go, James. That's why you're
There
my
we go.
man.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
said he's able to train clients as far as London on Zoom. And I also wanted to give a shout out to Tammy. I see Tammy came online, and Tammy's in Ireland. So hi, Tammy. She's all the way from Ireland.
So can I, you know, we as I said, I'm pretty much old school, and I've never really enjoyed educating people unless I'm face to face with them. And what happened with this COVID-19 thing, especially for us as a school, as a training institution, was that we did have to go online just to make sure. I mean, we were very committed to people that come and train through our school, whether they are there to start their career or whether they're in the industry already and they're coming to learn something. We believe that we'd like to give them the best possible service. And what actually happened was, as Lee mentioned in the beginning, we obviously engaged the people that we're educating with, we're already responsible for in terms of their qualifications. But when we started expanding to try and keep everyone going with some webinars and again, what happened was we actually started to increase the size of the classroom and that across borders, which is exactly what we're meaning now. And as James said, his clients are in London and stuff. And we've got people in Germany. We have students in Germany that we started engaging with online. And Germany, Kenya, Dubai, Namibia, all over. That suddenly this, we talk about a global village, and that used to be because you could actually get around quite easily. But the global village is online. And our capacity as trainers, and I'm going to say this purely not because I'm only proudly South African, but because I have been exposed to perhaps professionals overseas. I think South African trainers are flipping right up there. And I actually think when people start to realize that through our exposure through these platforms, when other people outside of South Africa get exposed to the quality of trainers we have in South Africa, I reckon our people's businesses will grow beyond the borders.
Yeah.
And I'll say that I'm not, and that's purely because I know a lot of trainers, and we see a lot of guys come through our schools and even just engage with us. And I do believe, and also, that the level of professionalism and the knowledge and the passion to what we do in the industry is comparable, if not better, than a lot, and our standard is much higher than to be found in many overseas countries. And how this affects us means, basically, like I said, once you get yourself out there, the chance of you growing is quite high.
This is a chance. This is your captain.
Yeah. So what I wanted to say from all that you're saying here, the need for physical activity is so high. I believe that 100% of the people that you knew and all those that you lost contact with, if you contact them and you offer them a couple of options, what they can do, what their need is, offer them their need, you can meet that physical and health need, I believe, physical activity and health need. You just got to use all these things that Lee and Derek are talking about. So I don't believe that as health and fitness professionals, it's a little bit harder. We have to get creative, but I believe we're lucky because our industry should be growing. That's what I believe. And it's only going to get better. This thing will finish, guys. It's a normal thing. It's going to go. So let's not look at the bad. We want you to look at the great things that can happen from here. And this is why I love Lee and Derek, because that's what they keep doing all the whole time. One thing I want to ask you is, because I want to get your questions also, Lee, if you're watching the Facebook page, is that if you had to summarize in your business and for your trainers, what were the things, like 4 or 5 things that you did to pivot in this time? For example, one was you went straight away to online learning. What other things would you recommend for them? Like you've said,
I think
put your profile online, those things. If you can just summarize for them, for ideas.
I think, yeah, online learning, connecting. I think connecting with your clients, emotional connecting. Don't take for granted if you haven't spoken to a client for 1 week that maybe they're just not enjoying your training. They may just be having a really crappy week.
Yep.
And phone them, connect with them, say, how are you? Are you okay? They may be having a flat week. They may not being okay, and say, okay, I just wanted to see if you're okay. If you don't feel like coming online this week, just go for a walk. It's good for your headspace. Come online with me next week. So I think people are feeling very lonely. People are going through tough times, and connect with people. So I think very important at the moment is connect, have the confidence to connect. Don't undermine yourself. Don't say, oh, maybe she didn't enjoy my last session. I'm not going to connect with them. Maybe I did something wrong. Have the confidence within yourself to know that whatever service you are offering is a good service. Whatever your last class was that you delivered was a good class. So if someone hasn't connected with you, there may be something wrong with them. Connect with them and find out if they're okay. You are making a difference out there. You have a lot to offer as a fitness professional, and whatever you are offering is making a long-term change in that person's life. You are changing their lives, you are extending their lifespan, and you have the ability to help them fight the next virus that's going to come along. And also equipment sold out in 2 days. If people have money to buy equipment, they have money to pay you as fitness professionals. Most people don't know what to do with that equipment when it's in their homes. You are the key to help them to know what to do with the equipment. So connect with the equipment companies out there, phone them, say to them, I've got all these clients. I'd like to put together a home training package.
Yep.
Put together a home training package for your clients. Make an arrangement with the equipment companies and make commission off them. So if you're going to put a little home package together, offer it to your clients and make commission off them. Derek, any tips from you?
Just something. Remember, and this happened. I've seen a couple of my friends and colleagues that own smaller gyms, and none of the big gym chains are a brand, and the brand is really out there. Okay. But for smaller gyms and stuff, it's not necessarily about it being a brand, it's a community. And what I have seen with a lot of the guys trying to keep their gyms and their businesses going, they've, through the communication that Lee's talked about, they've kept that community going. So whether they've loaned their equipment out or rented their equipment out from the gym or whatever, just because they're so interested and desperate to keep their clientele happy, firstly, and the community going. And it is a community. So even if you're a single trainer and you're not stuck in a gym, even if you're a tenant trainer, should I say, and you're out there, your clients are your clients. They're part of your community. And the more you can keep the community alive, the better. Someone that really is adamant about training one-on-one with you, let them come to a class, because there's a social element as well. And, you get a bit of a different endorphin rush when there's a whole group of people together. You get the oxytocin release and everyone's want the hug drug. You want to give everyone, it's just that really motivating. So sometimes that's just what they need. And the group class also allows us to maybe drop the cost of that session or whatever. So that it becomes a little bit more doable for everybody.
Yeah.
So we look at multiple benefits, but the main thing here is to keep the community going. And
okay.
For those members of the public that are listening to this, that have trainers or that do belong to a gym, maybe you haven't spoken to the guys for a while, reach out to them as well. So listen, I'm keen. You guys will open soon, but what can we do in the meantime if you haven't? You've got to remember the flip side of this as well. The trainers and the gym owners are also human beings. They're also going through COVID-19, the stress and everything. They have livelihoods and stuff. So it's been really tough for a lot of guys. And
but we can work it out together. That's what you're saying.
Sometimes, you develop very good relationships with the people that we train, and they become your friends. And they're nice sometimes. And then I'm very grateful for the people that I get to train. They've been very supportive, and through COVID-19 and through our students as well. They've really understood that we've had to adapt, and they've understood and they've been very accepting of it, and we're very grateful for that. And it's helped us evolve. It's helped us evolve in terms of the services we offer and how we approach everything. So guys out there, if you do belong to a gym and you do have a trainer or that you used to train with people, try reconnect. There will be a way for them to help you out somehow, with discounted rates or whatever it may be, but just get back into that community. We're stronger together. That seems to be the hashtag going on at the moment. But we're all stronger together.
Yeah. I want to leave 5 minutes for like any questions we have, but I want to say
Can I
two
just
things.
read something? Sorry,
Yes,
Georgie.
yes.
So Ray Cranston, who's definitely a big leader in the fitness industry, he said it's time to be brave and bold and put yourself out there, reconnect to old clients. Ray said he's seen people who immigrated years ago and is training them from all over the world. I don't know how Ray can fit more people into his schedule, because I think he trains till 1 o'clock in the morning. So good for you, Ray.
Okay. Just before we go to those again,
Yes.
because I want you to read those and some questions. But what I wanted to say is that there are two things from my point of view that is now needed for, as exercise education people, and that's Derek, you are brilliant at honing, and you've developed.
Frozen a bit.
Going and a lesson around that. How? Because it is different than face to face. Okay. And then the second thing is I want you to get which you are, and I know you've talked to me about it, but get out a lesson or a plan around someone who's had COVID. How do we rehab? What are the rehabilitation processes from them? Those are the two things I think, because it is a skill online. What are the things you found? What is your experience? And Derek, you've become pretty skilled, I know, because I've been in your classes. You need to get that out there, and I think trainers need to be, learn more about that. Okay, so I think any questions there, because we've got 3 minutes. I'm just cognitive of time. Any other suggestions, and then you guys can wrap it up.
Okay, no questions yet. Just Ray commented saying he does start at 4 in the morning still.
Okay.
Which I believe. Edith Chetty said, excellent advice, Lee. We are the change that we want to see in the ever-changing world. No questions.
Comments, nice comments.
Nice comments from everyone. Yeah, all
That's
the guys, our guys out there.
Awesome. Do you want to leave us with some of your parting thoughts, guys?
Oh, wait, there's one. Brian Patterson, I have some research on COVID recovery for sportsmen. He said he'll send it to Derek, but I think that is vital, Georgie, that we will be doing.
So we are in the process of, we have at the moment got an online workshop available to help guys prepare for when the gyms do open, just in terms of what you should be looking out for. Remember, you want to make sure your clients are safe. Even just feeling that they're safe, even though they might know at the back of the mind the risk is not that high, if we take all the right precautions, but just to help prepare trainers to get back in there. That's the first thing. The second thing is, what we're going to do is we're putting together material and a workshop on return to activity that trainers can take into account for their clients. Ray says, can we do a recovery session from what, Ray? We haven't done anything yet. Flip. So the main thing, so we're going to have to we'll put together some workshops on how and the duration, because the recovery from COVID-19 is actually not a joke. And so we've got some references from British Journal of Sports Medicine, those and a couple of other resources. And then obviously Brian Patterson, who was also a trainer who works at LifeMax, has got some stuff that he'll share with us as well, which we'll make available through our platforms and so on. And look, at the end of the day, we're all evolving and we're all learning some new stuff. So the more we keep up to date, the better chances we have of ensuring the safety of our clients and helping them to return to normal. But also the same, and we all train ourselves, and it's a good thing to know about how not to push too hard too soon. Unfortunately, we never listen to our own advice, so we'll push it on to everyone else, but not take that into account for ourselves.
So Kim de Villiers said, Jonathan Blake had COVID. Sure, that must have, and that he could do a Zoom talk.
Brilliant.
There we go. Right,
Cool.
guys, unfortunately, we've reached the end of time, but it is so nice to hear that there's so much positivity actually out there, and we can grab that. And thank you, Lee. Thank you, Derek, for sharing your ideas, because, they're brilliant. and for making this talk and lifting our spirits a little bit, which is really needed. Thank you very
I
much,
think
guys.
that's the only spirits you're going to get at the moment, unless you're going on the black market.
Ah, don't remind me, Derek, please. Don't.
Brilliant,
Thank
Georgie,
you,
thanks very much for your
everybody.
time.
Okay, thank you, Georgie. Bye, guys.
everybody.
Thanks for listening.
Cheers.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.